Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we will be reading from True Off My Chest. Our first post is by Explorer Admirable. I, 23F, gave my child up. I'd do it again. 3 years ago, I had a baby that I was not ready for. It was an accident. I was on birth control at the time it happened, and my ex had made it clear from the beginning that he wanted nothing to do with him. I tried to be a good mother, but I was failing my son. I had to work overnight just to afford the things he needed, and even then I couldn't. My roommate at the time watched him while I worked, and I was barely sleeping during the day. My stepmom was the only one of my family who was involved, and she saw how much I was failing at it. None of my other family members were there to help. It broke my heart, but I knew I couldn't give him the life he deserved. I was barely present as a mother, and it broke me to admit that. When he was 6 months old, I knew I had to find someone who could take care of him, love him, be there for him, in ways that I couldn't be. I was struggling mentally, physically, emotionally, and had very little help. So I made the choice to give him up. I found an amazing family that was looking to adopt, and after 2 months of meeting them and paperwork, they adopted him. I knew it was better for him, but I was heartbroken to lose him. Now I'm friends with his parents on Facebook. I see photos of him, and he's so happy. He gets to do things I wasn't able to do with him because I had to work overnight to support him. I can't say this to my family. They still hate me for giving him up. Seeing how happy he is, how much his family loves him, and how much they do with him, adore him. I'd do it again for him. I wouldn't do anything differently because he's safe, loved, fed, adored. I would do it all again for him. Our next post is by WK Hope. My girlfriend is upset because I hesitated to have sex with her. I'm 36M and have been together with my 32F girlfriend for 3 months. This is my first relationship after losing my wife 5 years ago, so I admit I took some time to get used to dating, especially since I hadn't been with anyone new since like 2010 when I started dating my wife. We have had sex a couple of times, and during those times we've both been either sober or had a couple of drinks, nothing more. It's of course always been consensual. Last night we went to a friend's party where my girlfriend got super drunk, like she must have had about 8 drinks. I wasn't drinking that night and dropped her back to her place. Once in, she wanted to have sex. I did want to make sure she was okay with it, so asked her. She said yes, of course. I asked again because I knew she was drunk and had had a very long day. She then got super upset with me and started crying and yelling, asking if I was stupid or didn't find her attractive. I said that's not the case, and I just wanted to make sure she's really on board with it. She didn't believe me and made me leave, like literally kicked me out the door. I called her this morning and she said that she was really offended last night. She said I made her feel like crap, and if she says she wants it, she always means it. She then said she needs some time apart to think through things and how I made her feel. Was I wrong for doing what I did, and how do I make it better? Our next post is by Throwaway. The lunch monitor made my son throw away perfectly good food. I have this posted on another sub but wanted to share here too because this is so wrong. On Thursday I got a phone call from my son telling me he had detention and wasn't going to be on the bus. He usually has a cell phone, but I haven't been able to afford a card for it, but he knew I'd get worried. When I asked why he had detention, the phone was hung up. I thought if a student was going to be held, the school would notify the parent, but I guess not. My son is a really good kid who never had any issues, so I went to the school. He was taking food from his lunch to save for later. Lunch is free, but if a student wants a second one, they have to buy a second tray. The rules are that food and drink can't be taken to class. He said he wasn't trying to sneak food for class, he was taking it straight to his locker to save for after school. The lunch monitor caught him a few times and started making him flip his pockets inside out, embarrassing him in front of the entire lunchroom. Instead of letting him just eat what he was trying to save quickly, she would make him throw it away, perfectly good food. On Thursday she stopped him again and said he was trying to be slick, and was scurrying like a raccoon to his locker. He showed her his pockets, but that wasn't enough. She tried to pat him down to check. He refused, so he was given after-school detention for insubordination, and was made to apologize to the lunch monitor. When asked why he kept trying to get away with it, he shrugged and just said, "I just wanted a snack for the bus, I'm always hungry." Every student goes to their locker after lunch because they aren't allowed to bring their binders and book bags into the lunchroom. On Friday, I went back to the school to talk with the principal because I didn't think what he did was enough to deserve detention. He is a straight A student. I was basically told the rules are rules, no exceptions. I'm still so upset. When I asked him why he didn't just take a snack from home, he said it wouldn't be fair to his siblings and me if he took an extra snack. He is always making sure all our meals are equal, and I used to think it was just OCD, but he literally won't and can't eat if we all don't have the same amount. We don't have snacks all the time unless the food bank gives us some. Food insecurity sucks, and my son is experiencing it and getting punished for it. I know I'm a piece of crap mom because my pantry fridge is always bare despite utilizing food banks, and most of our meals are beans and rice, but school lunch is free food that he should be able to enjoy it all. Gatekeeping free food from a child is so wrong. Our next post is by Crafty Border. My wife was cheating on me when she got a heart attack. I was in my office when I got the call that she is being taken to hospital. I rushed there as fast as possible. She was already being prepared for operation. My friend, I don't know if I should even call him that. He was there. He was talking to a nurse and he had really frightened look on his face. I went up to him to ask what happened and the nurse pulled me aside. She asked me how I know him. Once I told her, she said they have informed police just as a precautionary measure. I was completely baffled. I was then informed she was unconscious and half naked when they found her. They assumed it could be the case of SA and informed police. I didn't know how to process all this and asked him what he was doing with her angrily. I had little outburst and he just kept quiet as I screamed at him. I was then taken to a different lounge and had time to settle. Soon police arrived and questioned him privately. They then also took my statement in which I made him out to be a creep. In my mind, he was assaulting her when this happened. I gave statement to make sure he gets his dues once it's proven. They didn't take him into custody or questioning, so I was a little surprised. I didn't know anything about police process, so I focused on my wife. After my wife came back from surgery, I was allowed to see her. She was sedated, and I remember feeling guilty as I held her hand and felt her heartbeat. It was the happiest thing for me at the time. She was very groggy when she woke up. I was teary. I hate how much detail I remember. Her eyes opening and adjusting to light. The first time opening her lips to speak, her first tired sound. I told her it's not her fault. She was not understanding anything. I said don't think about anything now, after she was fully awake and well. Police came to take her statement. I had to wait outside, and when I went in, she had red eyes and was having difficulty speaking. We came home, and after I was told she was at risk of getting another heart attack, I decided to never ask her about it. After 2 months of the incident, I managed to ask my wife what happened before her heart attack. She was silent. She didn't say she forgot. The dread was coming, and I knew it was what I had never considered. I was so afraid to confront her. I talked to him and he said yes. His wife forgave him, but I can never forgive either of them. I just don't want to be the reason for her death and leave this marriage when possible. Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.